Hilltop was quiet, just how you both liked it. No flashing lights, no crowd, just the soft rustle of leaves and the wind brushing through your hair. You sat on the old wooden bench you both carved initials into years ago. You heard the familiar sound of footsteps behind you, and your heart skipped the same way it had since your trainee days. "You are late," you said softly, not turning yet. Practice went for longer than intended. Jungkook mumbled, walking over and sitting beside you. You glanced at him, his gaze was fixed straight ahead, not on you. "You have been distant lately," you whispered. He ran a hand through his hair. "No, I haven't." "Yes, you have." You looked at him fully now. "You barely call unless I do. Every time I bring up the future, you shut down." He exhaled sharply. "Here we go again." Your heart stung. "I'm not trying to fight Cook, but we have been together for 8 years. 8 years, isn't it normal for me to ask about what's next? It's not the right time." You blinked at him, trying to keep your voice steady. "Then when is? After another 8 years? After I'm too tired to ask again?" He finally looked at you. "You think I don't want forever with you?" You stayed silent. He added softer this time. "I do, but right now, it's not just about us. You're going on a world tour. My solo album is about to launch. We are at the peak. Marriage isn't just love, it's timing, and this isn't it." You swallow the lump forming in your throat. "So I'm supposed to keep smiling, keep pretending I'm okay while waiting for a future you keep putting off? I'm asking you to trust me," he said, taking your hand. You stare at your intertwined fingers. "I do, but sometimes I feel like I'm the only one fighting for us." Jungkook squeezed your hand gently. "Don't say that." "I don't want to, but this uneasy feeling, like something is slipping away, like you are hiding something." He tensed but said nothing. "I'm sorry," you whispered. "I know it's annoying and maybe selfish of me to keep bringing it up." "No, it's not," he said quickly. "It's just, you have a big stage to prepare for. Focus on your concert, okay? Let's not ruin this moment." You nodded, wiping your cheek. "Okay," but as he pulled you close and rested your head on his shoulder, you couldn't shake the thought. He wasn't looking you in the eyes when he said it. The office was sleek, floor-to-ceiling windows, marble floors, and the scent of imported coffee. Jungkook stood with perfect posture, but his chest felt like it carried 100 bricks. Mr. Kang, the CEO of Big K Entertainment, leaned back in his leather chair. "You have outdone yourself, John," he said. "From the boy who barely passed vocal evaluations to the star every brand wants. I'm proud." Jungkook bowed slightly. "Thank you, sir. That means a lot." Mr. Kang reached into a drawer and pulled out a thick folder. "I have a proposal. Not business, but personal." Jungkook raised an eyebrow. "Sir?" The director smiled. "I want you to marry my daughter." Jungkook blinked. "Excuse me?" "Hanyul is back from LA. You remember her, don't you? My daughter. You two used to play together at company barbecues." He nodded slowly. "That was a long time ago. Not too long to forget." Mr. Kang's voice turned firm. "You are both adults now. Imagine the power of that union. Two global faces under one empire." "I don't know what to say," Jungkook admitted, a storm forming in his chest. "You don't have to say anything now," Mr. Kang said, sliding the folder toward him. "Just think about it. You'll have everything. I'll personally ensure you headline Asia's biggest music festival, endorsements, shares, a legacy no one can touch." Jungkook's jaw clenched. "But what if I already have someone I love?" Mr. Kang didn't flinch. "Love is great, Jungkook, but legacy, that's eternal. Choose wisely." He walked out of the office with shaky hands and eyes that couldn't meet his own reflection. The practice room echoed with silence. You stood in front of the mirror, arms limp by your sides, body heavy with emotions you couldn't name. You stared at your reflection. Pull it together, you muttered and turned on the music, a soft ballad that slowly turned into a beat-heavy heartbreak anthem. You danced, arms slicing through the air, feet pounding the ground with desperate rhythm. Each spin burned through your muscles, each drop to the floor knocked the breath out of your lungs, but it was better than crying. Your chest rose and fell, your breath hitched, and then you collapsed to your knees, tears finally spilling. I don't know what's wrong with me. You whispered to no one. Why does it feel like I'm losing him? You pressed your palm to the cold floor, trying to anchor yourself. There was no reply, only the hum of the speakers and the empty studio, the same place you both used to laugh in, sneak late night dances and steal kisses when no one was watching. Now it felt like a graveyard of memories, and still you had no idea that while your body broke from exhaustion, Jungkook's heart was breaking in silence, stuck between two worlds, and soon one of them would fall apart. The morning sun slipped through the half-closed blinds in your apartment, painting strips across your face. You sat cross-legged on the couch, holding your phone in one hand and a half-eaten toast in the other. Eyes fixed on the TV, but not really watching. Jungkook had stayed silent since your talk on the hill. You knew he was busy, you were too, but this silence felt different, cold, like a glass wall was slowly rising between you both, and neither of you knew how to break it. The sound of the door clicking broke your trance. You looked up and saw Jungkook walking in, phone pressed to his ear, jacket slung lazily over one shoulder. Yeah, I'll be there, he said into the receiver. Tell Mr. Kang not to worry. Your ears perked, Mr. Kang. He ended the call and smiled faintly at you. Sorry, that was Ho Bi-hyung. I came to pick up my USB drive. Left it here yesterday. You nodded and handed it to him from the table, but as you did, his phone burst. It slipped from his jacket and fell onto the couch, screen lightening up. New message from Haniel. Dad said he's happy we are finally talking again. I still remember the little boy who gave me his candy in 3rd grade. Your fingers froze and then your eyes involuntarily darted to the open photo beneath the message. A girl in a soft blue hanbok, long hair tucked behind her ears, smiling at Jungkook side by side, so close. The photo was recent, taken just days ago. He reached for the phone quickly, a little too fast. You blinked. Is that Haniel, the CEO's daughter? He paused. Yeah, just we bumped into each other at a dinner. Oh, you said, voice barely a whisper. You never mentioned that. I didn't think it mattered. He replied a little too quickly. You bit the inside of your cheek. And the message? The heart emoji? Is that normal now too? Jungkook exhaled, avoiding your eyes. Please don't make this something it's not. But you already knew something was changing, and it wasn't just your imagination. The company lobby was all glass and gold, elegance screaming from every corner. Jungkook stood in front of the elevator, heart racing, trying to slow his breath. Jungkook. He turned. Haniel stood there, a radiant smile on her face, holding 2 iced Americanos. Still remember how you liked your coffee? She asked softly, handing him one. He took it, unsure. Thanks. They sat in a quiet cafe on the rooftop, far from cameras, surrounded by gentle wind and flower boxes. You are quieter than I remember, she teased, stirring her drink. You used to sing for me while swinging on my balcony. That was childhood. She leaned in. And now you are a man who makes millions feel things through his voice. Imagine what we could be, together. He looked away. I'm not the same person, he murmured. She touched his wrist. Neither am I, but maybe we were always meant to circle back. He didn't respond, he didn't smile. He just stared at the city below, thinking of you. The way your voice cracked when you said, I feel like I'm the only one fighting for us. And now, maybe you were right. You stood alone in the center of the stage, the venue echoing with soft thud of your sneakers. The dancers were on a break. The stylists were setting up your costume, but you couldn't breathe. Your chest ached, you hadn't eaten properly in 2 days. Sleep was a luxury, and the photo, the one you weren't meant to see, played on a loop in your mind. You walked to the mic, voice trembling as you rehearsed your chorus, but the notes broke halfway. Tears welled in your eyes. Focus. You whispered to yourself, you can't afford to break down now. But the pain didn't care for timing. You wiped your face and tried again. This time you didn't sing, you screamed the chorus, voice cracking, fist clenched, like the sound could exorcise the ache inside. The director was surprised to see how beautifully and painfully you hit the high note. But as you took a step forward, your body swayed, everything blurred, and the last thing you heard before darkness swallowed you whole was the faint cry of someone calling your name. Your knees hit the ground and you collapsed. The faint beep of a monitor was the first sound you heard. Your eyes fluttered open, greeted by the sterile white walls of a hospital room. The curtains were drawn halfway. A drip ran through your arm. Your throat was dry, your head heavy. You looked around, there was no one. No manager, no staff, and no Jungkook. Just the sharp smell of antiseptic and silence. Your hand reached instinctively for your phone. 11 missed calls, none from him. Just your agency, stylist, and one from your mother. You stared at the screen for a long time, hoping, praying for his name to flash across it. But it didn't, and just when you were about to close your eyes again, the door creaked open. He walked in, Jungkook, hair slightly messy, dark hoodie, a bouquet of white lilies in his hand. For a second, everything inside you melted, relief, pain, desperation. You came? Your voice cracked. He hesitated at the door. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was filming. You nodded slowly, of course, he was always filming. You collapsed on stage. No one knew what happened until the staff found you alone. He placed the flowers on the side table. You gave him a tired smile. You didn't need to bring flowers. He looked away. They are from Hanuel. Silence. You didn't ask. You didn't want to hear more. Your hands clenched the hospital sheets. So you are doing things for her now? What's going on, Jungkook? Should I be worried? His eyes widened at the sharpness in your voice. It's not what you think. You cut him off. Then tell me what it is, because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like what I think. I collapsed from exhaustion, and the first flowers I see are from her, not even you. Her. He looked at the floor, lips pressed tightly. Say something. I didn't know what to bring. I thought she sent them, and you thought? You laughed, bitter and stunned. That's what I am now, a second thought in your life. He opened his mouth to speak, but you weren't finished. No, you don't get to stand there and act like this is okay. I have been patient. Jungkook, I have waited through your excuses, through every delayed promise, every vague answer about our future, and now you are showing up here with her name attached to your apology. He took a step forward. Why, please. You held up your hand, shaking your head. Is that why you have been distant? Is that why you stopped looking me in the eyes when I talked about us, about marriage? Tell me the truth. His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. Are you planning to back off? Is this your way of slowly letting me go without telling me? His expression broke, his brows drawn together, lips trembling. I don't want to lose you. Then why are you acting like you already have? Silence filled the room. You loved me once. I know you did. Maybe you still do, but love is more than holding someone's hand. It's showing up, it's choosing them every day, even when it's hard. His eyes brimmed with tears. I'm tired, Jungkook. I'm tired of feeling like I'm not enough for the man I gave my heart to. He took another step. You are more than enough. You are everything to me. You didn't flinch. Then why does it feel like I'm only one still fighting for us? He finally looked up, his voice cracked. Because I'm scared, Ryan. Scared I'll ruin you. Scared I'll hold you back. Scared that I'm not the man you deserve anymore. You blinked, stunned. So you would rather let me go than try? He looked at you with so much pain it almost hurt to see. I didn't come here to let you go. I came here because I couldn't stay away. You stare at him, your heart still broken, but your anger finally heard. Then stop confusing me. Stop giving me half of yourself and calling it love. Either be in this with me, fully, honestly, or walk away. But don't leave me in this middle place anymore, Jungkook. I'm not strong enough to live there. The silence that followed wasn't cold anymore. It was devastating. He stepped back, and for once he had nothing left to say. You turn your face away, swallowing your tears, because if he wanted you, really wanted you, he would stop being afraid and start fighting for you like you always did for him. Later that night, Jungkook sat in his studio, the room he once called home. Music played low in the background, but his fingers hovered above the keyboard without pressing a single key. His thoughts screamed louder than any beat could drown. He opened his phone, looked at a picture of you both from a trainee party, you with frosting on your nose, him grinning like an idiot. That smile hadn't come back in weeks. The door opened slightly. Taeyong peeked in. You okay? He asked, stepping inside. Jungkook didn't answer. Taeyong sat across from him. She collapsed, man. She hasn't been eating. Everyone sees it. You are hurting her. I know. Then why are you doing this? You love her. Everyone knows. So why are you acting like some corporate robot? Jungkook leaned forward. His voice was low. Because love doesn't guarantee stability, Tae. What if I choose her and we struggle for the next 10 years, buried by scandals, career dips, fan hatred? And what if you don't choose her and lose everything anyway? Taeyang shot back. Her, your music, your peace. What's the point of being famous if you're empty? Jungkook ran a hand through his hair. Do you think I don't ask myself that every day? I love her so much it makes me sick. But marrying Hanyul means I can finally do everything I dreamed of. Build a legacy, create opportunities, control my future. It's not just about me anymore, it's about survival. Taeyong stood, then said out loud, say you love your career more than her. Jungkook looked up, tears brimming in his eyes. I love her more, he whispered, but I don't know if love is enough anymore. 2 days later, you stood backstage at a music award show. You were smiling, smiling like your heart wasn't bruised, smiling like your world hadn't cracked quietly at midnight. Your manager was pacing, your makeup artist touching up the corners of your eyes, warning you not to cry. Just breathe, she said gently. The cameras are watching. And you did. You breathed. Jungkook was there too, performing with his group. Hanyul had been seated from front row. Every time the cameras panned to her, the screen exploded in hashtags and whispers of a power couple reunion. You tried not to look. After your performance, you stood in the hallway backstage, sipping water. He walked past, makeup perfect, smile practiced. You met eyes. Neither of you said a word, just a shared look, the kind that held thousands of unsaid sentences. And when he passed, you whispered, I wish you had just told me the truth, instead of letting me dream. He didn't turn, he didn't have to. You already knew he was ashamed of facing you. The conference room was colder than usual, not because of the air conditioning, but because of what lay on the table. A black file, inside it the contract that would seal Jungkook's future, an engagement with Hanyul, merger of two powerful names and complete industry dominance. Hanyul sat beside him, all poised, smiles and quiet anticipation. Her father across the table smiling like a deal was already done. You don't have to rush, Mr. Kang said, tapping the pen. But just know this will change everything. No more restrictions, no more limits. You'll be a global icon. Jungkook's eyes drifted to the file. He imagined the headlines, the applause, the legacy, and then he saw your face in his mind, crying alone in that hospital bed, the tremble in your voice, the quiet ache in your eyes. He closed the file and stood up. I'm sorry, he said softly. Mr. Kang's expression faltered. Excuse me, I can't sign this. Hanyul blinked. Jungkook, are you? I love someone else. He interrupted, his voice firm but low, and I won't trade her for all the fame in the world. Mr. Kang narrowed his eyes. You'll regret this. Maybe, but not more than I would regret losing her. He bowed once, then walked out, the weight lifting from his shoulders and his heart pounding with something it hadn't felt in weeks: clarity. Back in your apartment, you sat on the edge of your bed, suitcase open in front of you, clothes folded neatly, your passport resting on the side. Your world tour started in 2 days, and still your heart hadn't caught up with the news. You had seen the photo of Jungkook and Hanyul, the headlines, the speculations. You hadn't seen him since the award show. Maybe that was a good thing, because you didn't know if your heart could take another lie, even if it was came wrapped in his gentle voice. Your phone buzzed. Notification from a fan account. Rumors denied. John Jungkook reportedly rejects marriage proposal from CEO's daughter. You stare at it, hands frozen. You tapped it open and there it was, a blurry photo of Jungkook leaving the building alone, file still in hand, face unreadable. Your breath hitched, but still no message from him, no call, no knock. You shut your phone. If he really meant it, he would come to me, not through articles, not through gossip. You always went to the rooftop to breathe when life got too heavy. So tonight, under the stars, wrapped in a hoodie and scarf, you stood there again, trying to remember who you were before love got this complicated, and then footsteps. Your heart knew before your eyes did. Jungkook, he stood there in a black coat, hair falling over his eyes, a hesitant smile on his lips. Hey, he said, voice soft. You didn't answer. He stepped closer. I didn't sign the contract. You looked at him, eyes unreadable. Why are you here? Because I realized the fame, the legacy, the headlines, they mean nothing if I can't come home to you. You swallowed hard. You told me to focus on my concert. You told me it wasn't the right time. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I let fear talk. I was so scared of losing what I built. I didn't realize I was about to lose what mattered most. You looked away, trying to breathe. And now, what made you change your mind? He stepped closer, eyes bleeding. You. You always stood by me when I had nothing, when I messed up, when I was just a trainee with dreams too big for his heart. You loved me before anyone else did. Tears slipped down your cheeks, silent and warm. I choose you, he whispered, even if it costs me everything, even if I have to start from scratch. You're not a sacrifice, you're the reason I made it here. You didn't say anything, you just threw your arms around him and held him like he was air, like love was possible again. Because sometimes the most powerful thing a man can do is choose love, even when everything tells him not to. The stadium roared, lights beamed across the sea of fans, their glowing sticks painting the night sky like constellations. Thousands chanted your name. The opening notes of your final song echoed through the arena, but your heart beat faster for a different reason. You stood at the center of the stage, microphone clutched tightly, breath catching behind your lips. This moment, this tour, was supposed to be about your dreams, but tonight, something else was about to begin. Your eyes scanned the crowd, smiling, fighting back tears. I wrote this next song, you said gently into the mic. in a place of pain, but tonight I want to sing it from a place of peace. The music started, but then, just as you took your first step forward, the screens behind you flickered, the music stopped. Confused murmurs spread through the crowd. Your staff scrambled behind the screens. Then came his voice through the speakers, through the lights, through every corner of the world watching. Wait, you turned. And there he was, Jungkook, walking toward you from the far end of the stage. No backup dancers, no production, just him in all black, a single mic in his hand, chest rising with nerves and uncertainty. The crowd erupted into chaos, gasps, screams, disbelief. He smiled at you, the real smile. You didn't move. He took another step and then spoke into the mic. There's something I need to say. Silence fell, even the wind waited. I once thought that dreams had to be protected by walls, that love was a weakness that would distract me from greatness. He looked at you, but then I realized, she's my greatness. She's the reason I became who I am. She believed in me when I didn't. She stayed when I couldn't promise her anything. She waited while I ran. You blinked away tears, your hands were trembling. I almost lost her because I was too afraid to say what mattered. He turned to the audience. I am John Jungkook, an artist, a performer, a man who made mistakes. He looked back at you, but more than anything, I am hers. The crowd screamed, some cried, some clapped. You couldn't breathe. He pulled out a tiny black box from his pocket, the stage lights reflected off the silver ring nestled inside. Not because it's the right time in our careers, not because the world expects it, but because I want to build a life with you in front of everyone. With no secrets. He stepped closer. Why, I know after all the pain I've given you, I can't be forgiven so easily, but you did. And I promise I'll never disappoint you ever again. Will you marry me? You didn't need a second. You ran to him, and the moment you reached him, you crashed into his arms like you were always meant to. The mic slipped from your hand as you whispered, yes, 1,000 times yes. He held you, forehead against yours, and this time the cameras captured it all. Not a scandal, not a PR stunt, but a love story that took years of waiting, healing, and finally choosing. The stadium lit up with applause, but all you could hear was his voice in your ear, shaky and certain. This time, forever.